everyone, welcome back to another episode with Brucey Baby. Yes, and like I said in my last episode, that every episode that will get to read out real life stories from people. Yes, and like I said in my last episode, if you would love to share your own experience or someone else's experience or something that you observed in the society and you'd love to share it, could be a story, experience, and advice, or your own personal issue, you have a question about love, relationship, marriage, divorce, all stuff like that. You can send it to my email at couplechronicles@gmail.com. Yes. So we already have stories coming up. Yes. And the first story I'm going to be reading out today is about a man that feels like a third wheel in his own marriage. So I'm going to be reading out his story. Then I'd love to hear from you guys. Know what you guys think, because this person is not just telling his story. He wants to know what he's supposed to do, because it's actually kind of confused. He doesn't understand what is going on in his marriage anymore. He just needs your advice. So please, kindly advise him. So I'm going to be reading out his message now. Yes, and please, of course, like I said in my last episode, that everyone's identity will be kept anonymous. Yes, this is a safe space for everyone. So let me read out his story now. So his story says, I don't even know if I'm overreacting anymore, and that's why I'm sharing this. My wife has a male best friend, and not just the casual type. They are extremely close. She tells him almost everything that happens in our home. If we argue, he knows. If we disagree about money, he knows. If I annoy her, he knows. Sometimes I find out he knows things about my marriage before I even process them myself. Wow. I've brought it up several times, calmly, respectfully. I told her it makes me feel uncomfortable, but every time she brushes it off and tells me to deal with it. Wow, that's really mean. She says, he is my best friend long before you came into my life. Seriously? Marriage doesn't mean I should cut off important relationships. And I understand that. Wow. I'm not asking her to cut everyone off, okay? But I feel like I'm competing with another man emotionally. Sometimes, when something happens, I see her pick up her phone and text him first. Not me, him. And that hurts. Of course it will. I love my wife deeply. I genuinely want to be her husband, not just legally, but emotionally as well. I'm not trying to control her. I'm not insecure for no reason, but I feel like I'm standing outside my own marriage, looking in, like I'm the third party. So, big question. If you were in his shoes, what would you do? In fact, the main question should be, should someone that is married have a bestie of the opposite sex? I don't think so. I don't at all. I don't. But okay, I also want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about having bestie of the opposite sex as a married man, as a married woman? And if you were in this man's position, like I said before, what would you do? So, of course, before we dive into what we have for today's episode, be reminded that every week we're going to be sharing real life, real stories about people, things that people find it so difficult to talk about openly. This place is a safe space for everyone, because on this channel, your voice matters. So, if you're willing to share your own story, kindly send it to couplechronicles@gmail.com. And next episode, your own story might be the one that will be, presented, and people will be advising you. And of course, you will see people that will be willing to give you good advice, things that they would do if they were in your shoes and stuff like that. Because so many people, when they're in such a situation, they will not know what to do or who to talk to. But here is a safe space for everyone. So let's quickly dive into what we have for today's episode, the deeper conversation. Yes, but of course, before I begin, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed. Also, like and comment on my videos. Share my videos to all those that need to hear it. This topic about having a bestie of the opposite sex, a married man, as a married woman, is actually controversial. But when you ask some people, they'll be like, it's not just friendship. Don't I used to be friends with this person before I got married? Why should I cut off the relationship after getting married? And some will say, no, it shouldn't be. That is how marriage affairs starts. All those things, all those emotional affairs, and all those. That's how cheating starts. Everybody will be speaking from their own perspective and understanding. But let's tell ourselves the truth. Let's pause for a minute and actually think about it. Marriage changes your priorities. The only bestie of the opposite sex you should have should be your partner. For your own good. For the good of your marriage. That is how it is supposed to be. That is why you say people be like, marry your best friend or marry your best friend, or so that you will not begin to look for that best friend in someone else. Because when your partner already has it, or is already occupying that position in your life, you don't need to look for someone else to do that. Yes, so I understand when people say marry your best friend, marry your best friend. Yeah, it's actually very, very good to do that. because this bestie of a thing has ruined so many marriages. And it's still affecting so many marriages now. So it's really something that people should be careful about, because sometimes what used to be harmless before marriage can become a very serious danger and be very harmful after marriage. Do you understand? So it's not just by saying, hey, I've been friends with this person, he has been my best even before getting married. For the fact that you're now married, it changes a lot of things. You should consider your marriage. So let's be mature here, because conversations like this can either make or mar your marriage. Do you understand? See, let's be mature here, because conversations like this and what you understand from things like this can either make or mar your marriage. So let's be real. Firstly, we need to understand that marriage automatically shifts emotional priority. Yes, take it or leave it. That is why your partner should be your number one confidant once you guys get married. Because if someone else takes that emotional position in your life, that bestie, that confidence position, there is no way that tension will not grow at some point in that marriage. So to avoid such things, make your partner your number one confidant. Let your partner be the one and only bestie that you have as a married man, as a married woman. Secrecy is a red flag. Yes, it should be a red flag for you. Because if conversations has to be hidden or defended aggressively, then my dear, something is definitely off. In that relationship, in that marriage, secrecy is definitely a red flag. Especially those that are still in the relationship stage. You should be open to your partner. I mean, you guys are together. You guys are in a relationship. You guys are married. You should be 100% open to your partner. Alright, let me quickly tell you guys another story. This story is actually from one of my fans. Yes. And of course, like I usually say, everybody's identity is going to be kept anonymous. Yes. So these names I'll be using in this story is fictional. So, in this particular story, it is the husband, it is the man that sent the story to my email. Like I always say, if you have any real life story that you love to share, just for someone to know what you're going through, or you need advice, just want to talk to someone, I am here for you. Just send your story to coupleschronicles@gmail.com, and there I'll get your story, go through it, tell it in any of my videos, and people will advise you on what to do. Because not everybody that has someone to talk to, that has someone to share their pains with. So a lot of people are dying in silence, a lot of people are hurting in silence. That is why I felt it in my heart to actually do this, so that this could be a platform where people can share their real life stories and experience. So I'm going to be reading this story from a guy named Tunde. So it says, what happens when the person you tell everything to isn't your spouse? I'm about to tell you how my 7 years marriage almost ended because of a harmless bestie. My name is Tunde. I'm 36, and for 7 years, I thought I had the marriage every guy dreams of. My wife is Choma. We met at church, married in 2019, had 2 kids. We built a house in Lekki. Wow. Had our fights like every couple, but I always believed we were solid. I was wrong. And it started with a man she called just a friend. Choma and Emeka, okay, Emeka happens to be the friend, yeah. Choma and Emeka met in Unilag. They were broke students who survived each other, who helped each other survive, rather. Sorry. He was there when her dad died. She helped him pass accounts in 301. So when we got married, I was okay with them being close. I told myself, everybody needs a friend, okay? But that friend started becoming more present in our marriage than I was. He calls by 2 a.m. There were chats that I wasn't a part of. Choma would vent to Emeka about our fights before she even told me. She told Emeka she hated my mom's visits. She told Emeka she felt I wasn't ambitious anymore. When I said it bothered me, she said, when I was down, he stepped in. Last year, I lost my job at the bank. 4 months, no salary. I was depressed, ashamed. I couldn't even look my kids in the eye. During that time, Emeka became the helper. He paid our rent for 1 month without telling me. Wow. He took Shoma out for lunch to cheer her up. He sent her voice notes at 1 a.m. telling her she deserved better. Shoma never told me about the money he sent. When I found the alert, I asked her why she hid it. She said, if you trusted me, you wouldn't be asking. Seriously? I said, then why are you hiding it? You see, we fought till 3 a.m. The kids were awake. That was when I realized I wasn't her first call anymore. He was. The night I caught them, I got a new job in Abuja. I was excited. I wanted us to move, start afresh, leave the stress of Lagos behind. Chioma said no. When I asked why, she had no real answer. Then my sister called me. Tunde, are you okay? Emeka has been posting stories with Chioma every weekend. Last week, they were in a hotel in Ikeja for a business meeting. That's where they start. I didn't sleep that night. 2 days later, I flew back to Lagos unannounced. Got home by 11 p.m. Chioma wasn't there. Her phone pinged. Message from Emeka. I'm outside. I followed the location. Found them at a restaurant in VI, laughing and starting. I didn't shout. I didn't make a scene. I just walked away. 2 weeks later, I filed for separation. The truth that broke me. That is the last part of the story. At the lawyer's office, Chioma cried and said, "It's not what you think. We never slept together." I told her that's not the point. Chioma, you slept with him emotionally every night for 3 years. I was married to you, but you were married to him in your heart. Then came the twist I never saw coming. Emeka testified in court. He said, "I never loved Chioma. I loved the power of being the one she ran to." When today started getting better, I got scared. So I pushed her to leave him because if she stayed, I would lose my place. I'm getting married next month in Port Harcourt. Chioma sat there silent. She lost her marriage, trying to keep a friendship that was never real. So you see, the guy didn't even like her. He just liked the fact that he was her safe place. It was the lady that was in love with her bestie. I'm not here to say every opposite bestie is evil. Of course, not everyone is evil. But I will say this. When your spouse becomes the second option for your heart, your secrets, and your time, you're already cheating. Just not with your body yet. Very, very true. Marriage needs boundaries. So we all need to be very, very, very careful. It's very, very important. So that is all for today's episode. Like I said initially, if you have any real life story you want to share about love, relationship, marriage, divorce, anything, you can send it to my email at coupleschronicles@gmail.com. Yes, if you have any question, you want to share your story, you want to just say something, you want advice, whatever it is, just send it to my email. I'll be the one to read it out here, present it, and people will definitely be able to advise you, answer your questions, clear your doubts, and make you understand things better. So that is all for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Thanks so much for listening. And please, if you're not subscribed, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. So like my videos as well. Thank you so much for watching. See you on another episode of Juicy Baby. Bye.